Hello you guys, I am back with another tutorial. So this tutorial is going to be pencil crayon galaxy clouds in black. So basically, instead of a colored sky, we're going to be doing a black sky. There's just a little bit of a different coloring technique that I use when I'm blending a black sky into a colored galaxy cloud, because black is such a dominant shade, it will take over your colors. So I like to do a gradient to allow the black sky to mix in with the cloud. So that's what I'm going to teach you how I do that in this tutorial. Okay, so let's go. We're going to get a pencil and just draw whatever shape you want. You can do a square, a circle, triangle, whatever you want. I'm going to do a little square. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Then we're going to go in with our white pencil crayon, PC924, and we're going to draw a squiggly white line. The shape doesn't have to be in any particular, doesn't have to look exactly like mine. You can do any shape that you like, just any squiggly shape. So my last tutorial, actually, I did it straight across. I prefer not to do horizontal and vertical. I prefer to do to change the direction of the cloud. I find that they look better with galaxies. So if you start at the bottom and kind of go this way, or just don't make it like a straight line. So I'm going to start off to this side and I'm going to go up towards the top of the square. Then we're just going to make another squiggly line on the other side. Doesn't have to be the same shape as the first one. You can make it different, like that. Then we're going to go in with our light shade of red, which is Scarlet Lake 9 PC923. And we're going to color little circles following that white line. And do the same on the other side. Just little tiny circles on the outside of that white line. I'm using medium firm pressure, not complete full pressure. Then I'm going to go to my medium shade of red, which is Crimson Red 924. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Tiny little circles following the first red, kind of like we're tracing on the outside of it. And do the same on the other side. I'm not overlapping the reds, I'm just going in on top of it. And then we're going to get our darkest shade of red, which is Crimson Lake 925, and do the exact same thing again. Color in little tiny circles with medium firm pressure. And just follow that second red you did and just do little circles and outline the red you just did. So we're basically just putting down 3 shades of red. You don't have to use red, you can choose any color you want. You can do this with blue, purple, orange, yellow. Yellow actually is the hardest color I find, for me personally, to do galaxies in, but it is possible. If you do galaxies with yellow, make sure you blend with a cream pencil crayon and not a white. it will keep your yellows much nicer. Okay. Then we're going to get our black pencil crayon, PC935. And what we're going to do is we're going to make an outline around our cloud, kind of following the shape of whatever's there, whatever you have. Just like that. Same on the other side. And we're going to color this in a very light black. Not even medium pressure, just very lightly coloring it in so the paper's not showing, but no pressure at all, just very light pressure. This is where our gradient is going to mix the dark black sky in with the red cloud. It's just a slight transition between the dark black sky, which is going to be out here, which you'll see in a moment. And now everything that's left, color in dark black. So you can add more pressure now with this line and just color everything in the background. Solid black with full firm pressure. So color in your paper completely a solid black. I think I made my square a little bit too small. It's kind of squishy here. If this is your first time doing it, the bigger the area might be a little bit easier for you to color in, or maybe you prefer a smaller shape. Do the same on the other side. And this doesn't have to be done in the sky, like a background where there's a sky. You can do galaxy clouds wherever you want. You could do them in coloring pages, on anything you want. A mountain, a tree, a car, you can galaxy anything you want. It doesn't have to be the actual sky. Here we go. Just gonna get my mop brush and just wipe away the crumbs. Off to a designated spot on my desk. Let's get it out of the way. Okay, then we're gonna go back with our white pencil crayon, PC938. And we're gonna color with full, firm, solid pressure, the whole center here white. Oops, that tends to happen a lot. If you sharpen your pencils too sharp and then add too much pressure, you can expect them to break, like I just did. It's a really bad habit of mine. Normally, if you sharpen your pencil really sharp, you're supposed to go in layers and not go with full pressure until the pencil gets a little bit dull. But there I am, breaking it anyway. I'm gonna sharpen it again. My pencil sharpener is really noisy, so you might want to turn down your mic or your volume for a moment. It's an electrical pencil sharpener, so it's really noisy. Okay, and now we're going to do blending. We're going to blend all 3 shades of red and pull them towards the center where this cloud is, the white center is. So we're going to start with pulling the first red we put down, which was the lightest red. And I'm using medium to firm pressure and going back and forth between medium to firm and firm pressure when I'm blending these colors. So you can see I'm just pulling in the lightest red and mixing it in with the white. We're going to do the same on the other side. Then I'm going to go up and pull the medium red down into the light red and the dark red also down into the white, and I'm blending all 3 of them together. And I'm not trying to completely erase my white. Like, it's going to be pinky because we're working with white, so obviously the red and white is going to make a pink shade. That's normal. If you're working with blue, you're going to get a lighter blue. Whatever color you're working with, that's going to happen. So I'm just pulling them around, pushing them around, blending them all together so there's different shades of red moving around in here on the paper, which gives it a nice dimension. I'm going to keep doing that on the rest of the cloud. So I just like to pull the lightest shade into the white first, so it's really just in the white. And then I start moving all the other reds around. And you can move the colors around however you want. Every galaxy cloud will look different. Your cloud won't look like mine. They're all going to look different because every galaxy cloud will turn out differently. Depending how much you blend it, how little or more. You could leave it like that. You can blend it more with the white, just depending how blended you like it to look. It's your cloud, so you can make it look however you want. If your hand is feeling sore, that's normal. If I'm moving faster than you, you can just pause the video and just continue blending until you catch up to finishing blending all the reds and the white with the white together, like what I'm doing right now. Okay. Now I'm going to get my mop brush and just wipe away those crumbs. I just like using this versus like shaking my paper. Sometimes I just shake it into the garbage. Other times I just wipe it away with the brush. Now we're going to go back to our darkest shade of red, which is Crimson Lake 925. And what we're going to do with this red is we're going to blend it around in this light black over here. So we're making like a muddy, messy red mixed with the black. So we're just mixing those together. This is our gradient. I really did make this square too small. This square is really tiny, guys. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So this color right here that I'm making right now, it isn't the dark red by itself and it isn't black by itself. It's like a black red. It is a little bit hard to see on camera just because it's such a dark color, but we're mixing them together. Now we're gonna pull the black into that color. So we're using the same dark red and we're gonna, along the edge of the black, we're gonna pull that black into that color we just made. So this is causing the gradient to allow the sky to come together with the red. Because if we just pulled the black sky directly into the cloud, it would dominate the cloud because black is such a strong shade. So this is just a technique that I created to help black better blend. We're gonna do the same on the other side. We're gonna make our own color here. It's kind of like mixing paint, really. We're making a red black, and you could do this with any color. This could be blue black, orangey black, purple black, pink and black. They'll all react differently when you're mixing it in with the black. You can experiment with different shades and different colors and see what colors you like. So now we have the reddy black. That's the word I just made up. And now we're gonna take the edge of the black, like we did on the other side, and just go in little circles and pull that into the red black that we just made. I'm gonna wipe away the crumbs on that. Be very gentle when you're wiping away black pencil crayon dust if you choose to use a brush like me, because the color is very pigmented and it's smudgy and messy. It's one of the messiest colors with the black. So just be very gentle if you decide to wipe the crumbs away, that you don't smudge it everywhere. Just be very gentle when you're doing that. And then the last pencil crayon. Let's get a piece of scrap paper here. The scrap paper. I'm getting the Colourless pencil crayon 1077, and I'm just going to flatten it on a piece of scrap paper so that my pencil has a flat edge on the one side to make it easier for blending. Sorry, Ollie. And what we're going to do now is we're going to pull that mixture we made right along the edge there. So now we've blended the sky into that gradient. And what we're going to do first is we're going to gently mix the edge of this color we made into the cloud. So right down the middle there, we're going to do little circles to pull this mix we just made into the cloud, to basically erase this line that's separating the cloud from the sky. So because we're working with blacks and really dark shades here, I like to wipe off my tip a lot on a scrap piece of paper because it will pick up a lot of color. And we don't want to pull the blacks too far towards the white, like this dark color that we made. So we're trying to keep it along the edge. See how dark that is? So we're going to erase this line right now, which is what we're doing. And then after, we're going to have to erase the line we're creating right now. And see how much color that picked up? So your pencil crayon should have like a dry kind of feeling when you're mixing. And if it starts to feel really slippery, you'll get used to this with more experience. That means like your colorless blender has picked up a lot of color. So that's when you just wipe it off, and then it's back to being just wax with no color on it. Because the colorless pencil crayon is really just allowing us to move around the color that's already on the paper. So we're basically just softening that hard edge that's separating the cloud from the gradient mix that we made. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just color in little tiny circles. And I'm using like, I'd say medium, firm pressure, and then I go back between having like lighter, medium pressure. I just alternate between the two. Okay, and then now you can see we just created a new line, which is like that black red that we made is kind of coming down what we intended it to do. Now we're going to go along that line and soften that line out with little circles. Now here's where it just takes some practice of adding less pressure, going very light and pulling it in towards the white, and always moving in little circles. So we're basically trying to erase, smudge around, blend away any sharp lines that are separating one color from another. And if you feel like you need to dip into the black again because you want to soften that edge, go ahead and do that. Like any edges you see that are separating one color from another, just go in tiny circles, go back and forth, like into the sky, back into the cloud, into the sky. And anytime you start to feel like the colors aren't really blending, like it's too much color, just wipe it off on a scrap piece of paper. So we focus on the red, that sharp red line right there that we just pulled in, softening that, kind of like erasing it away with little circles. See, and then here, that's kind of showing a little bit still, which is the gradient on the darker end of things where the black sky is. And we're just going to soften that. And now when I go in the black, when I'm softening the blacker lines, the darker lines, I use less pressure because I don't want to like pull the black further in towards the cloud. I'm trying to keep the sky out where it belongs, but I'm also trying to blend them in together as seamlessly as possible. Obviously, I'm not perfect at this. It's not going to be like a perfect blend. I'm still always learning and practicing. I'll keep going down. Little circles, any area you see like sharp lines separating a color, just very light pressure and do circles to like blend it out. Little circles in the black, because I see the line is still there. Wipe it off. Keep moving down on the cloud. And see how when I blended that, it made a line separating the light from the, like, what's that? The color we made. I'm just gonna erase it by going in little circles and push it and pull it around until it kind of disappears like that. I'll do that in the black. And if your pencil paint starts to feel like it's getting a tip, I just press really hard and give it a flat edge. It makes it easier for blending when you're coloring with a flat edge. Like that, it has like a nice flat edge. Okay, and then I'm going to do the other side. Little circles, softening and erasing that line. And moving out and softening the line we just made, and just keep moving around, pushing it around, going in and out and all around till it's the softness you like. Move it around in the white, however far you want to bring it down. And then I'm going to work on the black line up here, the darker line, just much lighter pressure. And you can go over it as much time as you like. Like you can just go more gently in the middle and make it more pink, pull it around in the white, keep as much white as you want or as less white as you want. Like it's your cloud, so you can play around with it and just blend it into the white as much as you want or as little as you want. But just whenever you're softening the colors out near the black, just be very gentle, like soft pressure. And you can probably see in the light that you see some shiny, I don't know, how do you say that? If I move it around, you can even see, I think. See that shiny, I guess pencil marks from using the colorless pencil crayon, because this pencil crayon is pure wax, so we're just putting a lot of wax on the paper right now, which gives it like a shiny look. So I'm going to give you a tip on what I do with that. I'm not sure if I did that in any of my other tutorials, but especially with black, I find it's especially helpful. I like to use makeup sponges to just wipe away that shininess. Oh yes, I think I was talking about finishing spray, that I like to use finishing spray to spray my art when I'm done coloring, because it will make it not as shiny. Now I could spend a lot more time on this and make it more blended or more like softer the blend between the black and the cloud, but this is pretty much blended. It looks pretty good the way it is. The cloud and the sky blend together pretty nicely. I'm just going to open up my package of Cosmetic white. This is what they look like. It's Cosmetic Wedges. I get them from the dollar store. You get a whole bag for like $1.50 here in Canada. So after I wipe away the little crumbs, you can just use this little makeup wedge. Now, if you don't have a makeup wedge, these are just little pieces of foam, really soft foam. You can use a Kleenex, a tissue, just be very gentle and just wipe where you see that shiny, waxy, like the line work from your pencil crayon. And see, it takes up a little bit of color, not that much. And it makes the blend look nicer and smoother, and it just like rubs it in together, all the wax. And if you want to do the red side, you can just use a cleaner at the other side to do the red. It shows up more in dark colors, I find, the waxy lines from the colorless pencil crayon. And now it's a little bit better. Not perfect, but better. And lastly, we're going to go in with our paint pen. Getting another piece of scrap paper. I'm using a UniPosca paint pen in white, 0.7 millimeters, which is a pin type. Shake it up to prime it. Just pump it to get it ready. And we're going to add some stars. So for the stars, I like to add a lot of stars to the white area, like the center area. For bigger stars, just color in one spot for a little bit longer. It'll release more ink and make your star bigger like that. And if you want a smaller star, just barely touch your paper like that. That'll give you tiny, tiny stars. And it's up to you how many stars you want to put. I like to put them like in the center of the cloud, like where all the whites are. And you could place them on the red, like the darker parts of the cloud too, just like basically everywhere. But I just find that it brightens up the white glow of the cloud when you have them in the white part of the cloud. So just play around with doing different shapes of stars, larger ones, medium ones, tiny, teeny ones. And always try to make sure that your stars are circular. If they look oval or like a deformed shape, try to double tap it or triple tap it, however many taps you need to do to release more ink, like just very gently, so that you could try to make the star circular. And then lastly, you can add a few stars to the sky. Again, my square is super tiny. There's barely any space in my sky to do stars. See, with that one, it kept getting deformed, so I kept retapping it, trying to make the best circle I can make. Because if your stars aren't circular, they won't look very nice. And there. That is how I mix a black sky into a colored galaxy cloud. I do plan to do another tutorial to teach you how to do galaxy stars and galaxy clouds in black and white, because sometimes people just want stars and clouds that are white without any color added to them. Which is pretty much the same technique I'm doing here, but it's just working with grays and black and white. And I do plan to make those tutorials very soon, and some more marker tutorials. And I have another one that I invented, which I call a glow stick tutorial, which allows any object you want to look like it's glowing. Yeah. So if you want to see those, stick around, subscribe. And I will be making those tutorials. I'm just looking for a piece of art here to show you an example. Move that aside. Here's an example of my glow stick on a piece of art that I made. So here you can see the rings look like they're glowing. I put the glow stick effect around shapes. This was a Pokemon that I colored with the My Galaxy style. And yeah, this glow stick effect here, I'm going to also make a tutorial to teach you guys how to do that. So yeah. Well, I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can ask in the comments and I'll get back to you. Okay, bye. Thanks for watching.